The narcissist's cycle after you go silent. See, when you finally take your power back and go silent on a narcissist, you break the very system they built their life on. They thrive off your attention, your reactions, your pain. But the moment you stop feeding that monster, the cycle shifts, and now it's their world that starts to crumble. Today, I want to walk you through what happens in that cycle, because when you understand it, you won't fall for their games again. Shock and confusion. When you finally go silent on a narcissist, the very first thing that happens is shock. They didn't see it coming. You were always there, always responding, always giving them the attention they demanded. Silence was not part of their script. They built their identity on your reactions. Your words, your arguments, even your tears gave them power. Now, all of a sudden, the power line is cut. Understand something. Silence is not just quiet. It's power. It's the loudest statement you can ever make without saying a word. A narcissist thrives on chaos. They thrive on noise. Your silence feels like abandonment to them, but in reality, it's liberation for you. Shock sets in because their control isn't working anymore. Their ego doesn't know how to process rejection. You see, people like that expect you to fold. They expect you to run back when they push away. But when you don't, oh, that's when their cycle breaks. Confusion comes next. They start asking themselves, what happened? Did I lose my grip? Why aren't they reacting the way they used to? And in that moment, you flip the script. You put the pressure back on them. They can't figure you out, and that's what drives them crazy. See, when somebody can't predict you anymore, they can't control you anymore. Silence is unpredictable. Silence is powerful. They replay old scenarios in their mind, wondering where they lost their edge. That's not your problem anymore. Your silence is the evidence that you've grown. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to justify your decision. You just stop feeding their ego. The shock and confusion is not your burden. It's their wake-up call, but don't be fooled. Shock is only the beginning of their cycle. This is the part where they realize that the game they've been playing isn't going to work the same way anymore. And trust me, once they feel that silence, once they feel that cut off, their whole world begins to shake. Rage and anger. After the shock wears off, the anger shows up. That rage you see, it's not about you. It's about their loss of control. Narcissists don't handle rejection. They don't handle silence. They take it as the ultimate insult. The anger comes because you dared to take back your voice by refusing to speak. That silence screams louder than any argument you could have given them. They may call you names. They may send angry texts. They may even try to bait you into a fight, but don't fall for it. Their rage is nothing but evidence that your silence is working. It's proof that the control is slipping through their fingers. You see, when people are truly powerful, they don't need to yell. The one screaming is usually the one losing. They'll accuse you of being disrespectful. They'll say you're wrong for walking away, but deep down, they're angry because you finally realized your worth. Anger is their way of trying to scare you back into submission. But once you've tasted peace, there's no fear that can bring you back. This is the stage where they show you their true colors, that mask they wore so well. It starts to crack. Don't respond, don't explain, don't argue. The moment you answer, you feed the very fire you were trying to put out. Remember, anger thrives on reaction. When you give them none, their fire runs out of oxygen. You'll see tantrums like a child who lost their toy, but you're not their toy anymore. You are a grown soul reclaiming your life. The anger is loud, but silence is louder. Don't let their rage trick you into breaking your boundary. They can scream, they can curse, they can throw fits. But that storm belongs to them, not you. This is the stage where you stand firm. Don't let their anger rewrite the truth. Your silence is your shield. Smear campaign. When they realize their anger isn't pulling you back, they move to the next stage, trying to destroy your name. They start spreading lies, twisting stories, painting you as the villain. It's their way of saying, if I can't control you, I'll control how people see you. Don't panic when this happens. It's a reflection of their desperation, not your character. Narcissists live for an audience. If they can't get attention from you, they'll try to get it from others. They'll exaggerate, make up stories, play the victim. But truth always comes to light in time. You don't need to defend yourself to everybody. Those who really know you, those who really love you, won't believe the lies. See, the smear campaign is nothing but free advertising. All they're doing is exposing their own bitterness. A person who constantly talks bad about others only reveals who they are, not who you are. Silence works here too. You don't have to respond to every rumor, every whisper, every lie. People are smarter than you think. They'll start asking, why are they always talking about you if they claim to be over you? Let them smear. Let them rant. Let them spread stories. It's not your job to clean up a mess you didn't make. You don't need to lower yourself to their level. Staying silent in the middle of their lies only proves your strength. A good reputation doesn't get destroyed by gossip. A strong spirit doesn't get shaken by lies. And when the smear campaign dies down, and it always does, they'll be left exposed, while you'll still be standing in truth. Desperation for supply when the smear campaign doesn't break you. Here comes the next stage, desperation. Narcissists need attention like a car needs fuel. When you cut them off, they run on empty. At this point, they'll come crawling back with a whole new act. Suddenly, they're sweet, loving, and apologetic. They'll text you, I miss you. They'll call late at night pretending they care about how you're doing. Don't be fooled. That's not love speaking. That's addiction crying out for supply. They don't miss you. They miss the control they had over you. Desperation will make them say things they never meant. They'll promise the world. They'll act like they've changed overnight. But hear me. True change takes time, humility, and effort. Desperation takes none of that. It only takes panic. This is the stage where you need to keep your guard up. Because desperation sounds convincing when you're lonely, but it's nothing more than bait. They may even show up at your door, act sentimental, bring gifts, send flowers. But behind every gesture is one goal, to get you back under their thumb. Don't confuse desperation with sincerity. There's a difference between a person who values you and a person who needs you. One is rooted in love. The other is rooted in control. Their desperation may even trigger sympathy in you. That's how they work. They play with your emotions, but remember, silence is still your shield. Don't break it for a temporary performance. When you resist their desperation, you teach them the most valuable lesson. Your peace is no longer for sale. Guilt, tripping tactics when begging and sweet. Talking doesn't work, the guilt begins. They'll say things like, I can't believe you do this to me. Or, after all I did for you, this is how you repay me. Don't fall for it. That's not accountability. It's manipulation dressed as pity. They want you to second. Guess yourself. They want you to think you're the selfish one. A narcissist's favorite trick is flipping the script, turning themselves into the victim and you into the villain. They'll remind you of times they helped you. They'll drag up old favors as if they bought ownership over your life. Guilt is one of their strongest weapons because it works on people with compassion. But listen, you are not wrong for protecting your peace. You are not selfish for creating distance. Saying no to toxicity doesn't make you cruel. It makes you wise. Their guilt tripping will be heavy because it's their last attempt to control your emotions. They know you care. They know you have a heart. That's why they use it against you. But here's the truth. A real apology never comes with manipulation. Real accountability doesn't come with guilt. The moment you recognize guilt as a tool, you disarm it. You stop carrying burdens that don't belong to you. Don't argue with guilt. Don't try to explain yourself. Just stay silent and firm, because the moment you give in to guilt, the cycle starts all over again, and you've come too far for that. Silent stalking after guilt fails, they may disappear, but don't be fooled. Silence doesn't mean absence. Narcissists stalk in silence. They're still watching even when you think they're gone. They check your social media. They ask about you through mutual friends. They drive past places you used to go. Why? Because they can't stand not knowing what you're doing without them. Their ego wants proof that you're hurting. They need evidence that you miss them. If they see you thriving, it eats them alive. If they see you happy, it burns their soul. Silent stalking is their way of staying connected to you without admitting defeat. Don't let it scare you. Don't let it pull you back in. Their watching doesn't mean they're winning. In fact, their obsession only proves you had more value than they ever admitted. Sometimes the greatest revenge is living well. Posting your smile, walking in peace, glowing with freedom. That's your response. They can stalk, they can watch, they can hover, but they no longer have a seat at your table. Your life is not theirs to narrate anymore. You've taken the pen back. The hardest part for them is realizing they have no access to your soul. That silent stalking will eventually wear them out, because watching isn't the same as controlling. And sooner or later, even their silent obsession can't keep them satisfied. Replacing you too quickly when stalking doesn't heal their ego, they try to prove they've moved on. They jump into a new relationship faster than you can blink. On the outside, it looks like love, but on the inside, it's desperation in disguise. They want to show the world they're unbothered. They want to prove you were replaceable. But deep down, it's not about the new person. It's about hurting you. That rush to replace is not a sign of strength. It's a sign of emptiness. You can't heal by rushing. You can't grow by pretending. All they're doing is starting the same toxic cycle with somebody else. Don't let their quick replacement make you doubt your worth. You're not replaceable. You're unforgettable. The fact that they had to rush says everything. It means they can't stand to sit with themselves. They can take pictures, post smiles, flaunt their new love, but none of that erases the truth, because deep down they'll compare everyone to you. They'll never get the same energy, the same presence, the same care you gave. Their new partner isn't proof of their healing. It's proof of their fear of being alone. Don't let their highlight reel disturb your peace. Remember, social media is a stage, not reality. Let them run, let them flaunt, let them pretend. You know the truth. Replacements don't erase real connections. Their quick move is not your loss. It's their weakness. The realization of loss, and finally, after all the cycles, the rage, the guilt, the smear, the replacements, comes the part they fear most, realization. It hits them one day that you're really gone, not silent for a week, not distant for a month, but truly, permanently gone. They remember your love, your patience, your loyalty, and they realize they'll never get that again. That realization doesn't come when they're busy. It comes in the quiet, when nobody's around to distract them. They start comparing everyone else to you, but nobody matches. Nobody gives the same energy you once gave. That's when the regret creeps in, not because they've changed, but because they lost the best thing they ever had. They realize they can't call you anymore. They realize your number doesn't work the same. They realize their tricks don't reach you anymore, and that loss weighs heavier than anything. You see, silence was never just about ignoring them. It was about teaching them that you were not disposable, that you will not be mistreated, that you are not a revolving door. The realization of loss is their punishment. It's the mirror they can't escape. Don't think for a second that silence goes unnoticed. It echoes louder than words in their mind. They lost you not because you stopped loving, but because they never learned how to honor love. And that realization, that's the cycle's final stage. That's when the narcissist finally sees the cost of their games. And while they sit in regret, you'll still be moving forward, silent, strong, and free. When you finally go silent on a narcissist, you break chains that were never meant to hold you. You end a game that was never fair to begin with. See, they built their whole world on your reactions, your tears, your energy. But when you stopped giving it, you cut off the supply. And that silence is freedom. Don't you ever forget, silence is not weakness. It is strength, it is clarity, it is dignity. Anybody can argue, anybody can scream, but it takes a strong soul to say, I'm done, without ever raising a voice. That's real power. They'll go through their cycle. Shock, anger, lies, guilt, stalking, replacements, regret. But none of that has to concern you. Why? Because that cycle belongs to them, not you. Your silence removed you from the spin. You stepped off their merry-go-round, and now they're the ones dizzy, not you. So don't break your silence just to prove a point. Don't lower your peace just to answer chaos. You owe no explanations to people who never valued your truth in the first place. Let them wonder, let them rage, let them smear. You stay grounded, and the beauty of silence is this. It creates room for your real blessings to come. Once you stop giving your voice to people who don't deserve it, you start hearing God's voice clearer than ever. You start seeing opportunities you couldn't see before because you were too busy fighting storms that weren't even yours. Your silence will cost them control, but it will buy you freedom. It will cost them their ego, but it will give you your peace. It will cost them their games, but it will give you your future. So walk away with your head high. Don't look back at the noise. Don't respond to the bait. Don't break the silence, because silence is not empty. It's full of answers, full of power, full of healing. And when it's all said and done, they'll sit in the ruins of their cycle, and you'll still be standing, stronger, wiser, freer. That's the victory. That's the reward. So remember this. Silence doesn't just end the noise. It opens the door to your peace. And once you taste that peace, you'll never trade it for chaos again.